Yeah, I mean, a few. I think we cross matched a little bit and put just a switching person on the Huff because I thought he hurt us the first game, from behind three, and then some of our coverages without question, were blown, especially in some switches and some reds. That was a little bit of an issue. Yeah, we needed to be cleaner and better in those areas, no question.
And you talking about getting to the rim. You shot a pretty poor percentage there again tonight. Something you can do to coach that. How does that improve?
Yeah, I'm.
Just pointing out the guys,
Yeah,
or
yeah, and I think that for me, we've got to play, you know, basketball in a way that you get rewarded playing the right way, and we had talked a lot about, when you get there, and it's a great thing. We get there a lot. We do a really good job of getting there, but a lot of times where, fundamentally, and we talk a lot about this, is playing off of 2 feet and making the right decisions and those early pickups. And, until we change some of that, we got to play, more. Uh, we need everybody to help each other, now through a closeout, because we get to the paint real well. We generate closeouts, and I think we're been number one in the league in generating uncontested threes. We have to do that. That to me. That's a collective five guys working together. But we got too much standing and guys just trying to put their head down and go one on one, and that's not a good formula for us. We've got to play more the right way, I think, and I think we've shown a way to do that. We've gotten away from that. Now give Indiana credit. I thought their physicality at the point of the screen, our ball handlers really struggled tonight to handle the basketball and to make some of those plays. That's why even more you have to utilize each other more and move the ball and make decisions when they do collapse into the paint. We did it sometimes. We had some really good spray outs and we generated some threes, which was good. But to your point, those finishes at the rim are the ones we've got to do a better job making a decision on. It's still at this point like a 62% shot for us. But the shot that's in the lane, that's a 44% shot for us. So even though we're 29th in the league in terms of finishing at the rim, that's way better than shooting 44%, right? So there are some ones that we need to spray out. We need to be better in those areas.
Billy, you brought up the isolation thing. How much of that do you think is guys just aren't familiar with each other, just not that fluid rhythm of playing with one another? So the attitude becomes, I don't know where this guy's going to be all the time, or I don't trust where this guy's going to be, so screw it. I'm just going to go.
Yeah, no, I think there is some of that, no question. I don't, and I don't think when I say not play, I don't think it comes from like a bad place.
No,
Like
it's
I
just
want to get
right.
mine. I think it's more like we just necessarily don't have necessarily sometimes a lot of playmakers, so to speak, out there because of the injuries with some of our backcourt players, which is fine. But we've got to more collectively move and help each other off the ball. And I think when we stand and watch, and it's not only the ball handlers, it's the guys on the court too have got to space and move as well. And there's no question that there are guys that are in roles right now that they're probably not accustomed to being in, and there are guys handling the basketball that are probably not as accustomed to handling it. But we let too much stuff get blown up tonight where we couldn't even get open. I mean, or get the ball in bounds or dribble the ball up against pressure. Like we got to get better at that. But I do think that certainly there's been a huge responsibility on Josh. And with Io being out and Trey out and Kevin out, you got a limited ball handlers, and you're trying to stagger him and Coby and dealing with Coby with a minute restriction. It just is what it is. But we've got to utilize each other better than we do, and we can still generate better shots than I think we're generating. And I do agree this. It's great that we're going, but we don't have to shoot it. We can still stop and spray it out and generate. Like if a guy like Julian Phillips is not going to play really off the dribble a lot, I feel pretty good about him shooting corner threes and catch and shoot threes. He's been pretty good at that. Patrick Williams, the same thing. So we got to be able to generate shots for each other. Some of it's moving off the ball. Some of it's when you get downhill, making the right decision. Some of it is moving correctly when Vooch gets the ball in the post and giving him an outlet. We had a couple inside out threes. It's just really everything that we got to clean up and be better. And some of it we haven't practiced, quite honestly, with the guys that are being out, which is fine. But we got to. To me, the one thing we have talked a lot about has been at the rim. Can we make better decisions? Because right now we have more. We get more shots blocked than I think there's only one of the team in the league that gets more shots blocked than we do at the rim. We just got to make better decisions in those spots on the floor, And some of it is when you leave the floor early and you pick up the ball at the free throw line and you're going off of one leg, and you get there and it's like, I don't think I can really get, and now you're trying to make a decision. It becomes hard. Yeah, well, I think it was a couple things. I think one was, we had a really, really, just call it like, we had a really hard time handling the basketball against the pressure. We just did. Getting it across half court at times, getting it inbounded at times. I thought that was a major problem. I thought even just passing the ball, guys, we were denied in certain situations and we were trying to back cut, but we couldn't, like, sometimes break free. That was a challenge. I do think some of the decision making in the lane, was an issue. Those two things probably stood out the most to me.
Josh talked to us this morning about how with kind of some of those ball handlers out, he has noticed teams like reading at the half court line, if not further. How do you help the team kind of get through those situations, knowing that you don't have a lot of?
Yeah, I mean, one of it is, you come back and set some high screens for him. Two, you have to have maybe some other guys initiate the offense, like a Dalen or a Javon, based on who's guarding who. I mean, Nemhard's a really good defender. We've got to utilize different handlers, so to speak. And that's why I was saying before, it can't all fall on Josh. If they're going to send two guys on every inbound pass to prevent him from getting it, sometimes somebody's got to bring the ball up the court. That guy's got to be able to bring the ball up against court, against pressure, and maybe initiate, some kind of actions. But when he's off the floor and Coby's out there, it can't all fall on him either. I think we've got to do a better job, quite honestly, of finding Vooch, and like Vooch got the ball several times in the post, and he's very, very unselfish. He'll spray it out and he'll pass it. It generated some shots for us. We've got to generate shots collectively. We're not going to do what they did and throw the ball to Siakam and let him take step backs. And that's not us. We can't play that way. And we're going to have to utilize and rely on each other. We've shown doing it. I think to Joe's point, there's probably a lot of guys in different roles and different responsibilities that we'll have to work through. But I think for us, the sum has got to be greater than the parts.
What do you see from Modest tonight in terms of driving to get the ball on and get 9 attempts? Do you feel like anything changed?
Yeah, like I think he did a lot of really good things. The one thing that was encouraging was the backboard. We got to got on the glass a little bit. I think the free throw line was good. And I do think as a young player, him getting there, he can also make some decisions too of when to spray it, and when to go up and finish it. But overall, I like the way he tried to attack. I thought some of his turnovers came from not reading early enough the shifts. There's times where he's trying to drive and there's 3 guys there. Just do that, and it gets it into the next action. And certainly we want to attack downhill, but we got to recognize when the floor is loaded up like that, it's hard to get to the rim sometimes. And they're screaming on the bench, get back and load up. And we're saying the same thing about them. So, I did think he did some really, really good things tonight. And to your point, got fouled going to the rim. But I also thought the 6 turnovers, the decision making has got to be better too. And I think maybe Josh had 5. I mean, that was 11 of whatever the 18 between the 2 of them. And those are 2 of your primary ball handlers. We got to be better there.
Whatever we do, we got to do it together. The most important thing is I've been here a long time. I've seen a lot of different situations. I've been in a lot of different scenarios. The most important thing is we can't start pointing fingers and nothing like that. We are, and I'm not saying by any means we've done that.
Right.
But, we're all human. So for us, the most important thing for me right now is we got to stick together. It's still we got 60, I don't know how many games left. It's still a very long season. Like I said, I've been through the ups and downs here for 7 years now. So the most important thing is we stick together through this. The season always going to be filled with adversity. So we got a chance to change the narrative right now. So the most important thing for me is we don't let go of the rope and we do this thing together.
Do you feel this thing is easily fixable, or is it going to take some work?
Nothing in the league is easily fixable. We're playing against the best competition every night, the best players in the world. So for us, we're going to have to put in the effort. We're going to have to fight and claw our way back to where we want to get to. But I believe we can. Like I said, we're a close group. We got a lot of great relationships on this team. So for us, we just got to continue to have the honest conversations we have with each other and continue to grow. It's going to take, it's going to take all of us, and it's going to take a ton of spirit, a ton of heart. But it is fixable, which is the most important thing.
In those honest conversations you mentioned, what are some of the problem areas you guys are starting to
just we have lapses tonight. Beginning, we fought in the first half. Third quarter, we had a little bit of slippage, and they went on that run. and now we clawing our way back, instead of letting it be a snowball effect. We hold each other accountable in terms of one or two mistakes. All right, now we got to refocus and lock back in. So I think, and we had those honest conversations tonight on the bench during timeouts, and everything ain't gonna always go to. You can have the conversations, and you can hold each other accountable, and stuff still can go bad. It still can not go the way you want it to, but that's a step in the right direction. Is holding each other accountable and having those conversations.
And then you look at the stretch, these past 6 or 7 games. From the outside, it looked like this is sort of a stretch that you guys could have used to sort of buff your playoffs. I mean, obviously, you guys have lost like 4 or 5 lottery teams in that stretch. I guess, how are you guys viewing the trajectory of this team after the stretch? Do you feel like you're a playoff team? Like, how are you guys talking
Yeah,
about?
I feel like we still got a chance to make a run. Like I always say, we got a lot of season left. And in this league, I've been in this league for a couple of years now. Like lottery team or not, everybody talented, bro. Like everybody here is here for a reason. Everybody here, they got, even though they ain't winning the way they want to win, they got championship DNA. They got a Pascal Siakam won a ring. Like they got really good players over there, and they have a Hall of Fame coach in Rick Carlisle. So they ain't no bad team. They just went to the finals last year. Yeah, they missing a couple pieces. They started off the year. They had a bunch of injuries, and they obviously was in the hole. But they're a really good team. So I don't view every team like, oh, this just because of their record. Like everybody here, the best players in the world, everybody here want to win. Like players don't go in games thinking, oh, we want to lose tonight. Everybody talented.
Coby, aside from the results, wins and losses, that the team's style of play seems very different now compared to the way it was the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Much more, we talked about a little bit, much more isolation play, as opposed to moving the ball, transition, the kind of things you're talking about. What did you see, that occurring, and is there a message in that? Is it just, sort of desperation, guys want to do it themselves because we're falling behind, or what do you see in the change of style?
I mean, obviously, yeah, I would agree that especially the offense had taken a step back in terms of body movement, player movement. I honestly think too, teams start to adjust. You get more film, they start to adjust. So for us, we got to take it as players to figure out ways to be better at it, and then the coaches give us the formula, but we just got to go out there and execute it. Like we played numerous teams who switch 1 through 5, and most of the time, when teams play that, they want to slow you down in transition. They want to slow you down in the half court. Some teams like tonight, Indiana, compared to the other teams we've been playing, they were sending all 5 to the glass. Tonight, I feel like Indiana was going, but they was running through the elbows, so they was more focused on getting back in transition. So for us, we got to figure out ways how can we take advantage of everything they're doing and reading the game in real time. Like tonight, they wasn't switching off ball. So for us, I feel like we got to get, like a night like tonight, we probably got to get some more off ball actions. And that's on us to read that and figure out ways that we can be effective as a team.
Do you think there's any mental to kind of what you said about lacking some of that off-ball movement, some of that motion?
No, I think we just got to continue to learn. We watch the film from this tomorrow, continue to grow from it, and continue to have the conversations we need to have. But like I said, everybody on this team is unselfish, and that we all have the want to do the right thing. Nobody on this team has a selfish bone in their body, and I wouldn't want to share the court with anybody else in this world, but with the guys in this locker room. But like I said, we got to learn from it, and the things that we're seeing as players, we got to voice that too as well. And it's not just on the coaches; it's on us too, because we the ones out there playing. So we got to figure out ways how we can use everybody to be effective, because the way our team is shaped, everybody has to contribute. Like we got to involve everybody.
Coby, is this group, are you guys able to have those tough conversations
Yeah.
with each other?
Yeah.
And have you started having them?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. We're able, like I said, because of what we built during the summer. It started during the summer, and we've have been able to have those tough conversations. And like I said, having one tough conversation, having 2 tough conversations, the switch might not flip. That ain't how life works. You know what I'm saying? So it's still basketball at the end of the day. There's swings and stuff that you have to work on, but I think it's a step, like I said, in that right direction of being able to talk to someone, them talk to you back, and both of you guys hold each other accountable.
I know
Last one.
nobody obviously, we had a good start, and nobody expected, 5, that to continue. But are you surprised that it's come to this from that, from that high this low this last couple of weeks compared to the early couple of weeks. It's such a diversion.
Nah, obviously it's frustration there because you want everybody in this room, this locker room wants to win. Obviously it's frustration there, but it's part of being in the best league in the world. You know, this to me is how you build character, how you find out, you know, who you really are. So are we gonna let go of the rope? Are we gonna, you know, start pointing fingers? Or which I think what we're gonna do is come together and figure this thing out. So for me it's obviously frustrating. Everybody wanna win. You know, you start off 6-1 and you know you're going like this, but I don't know how y'all life go. Is it always like this? Or does sometimes y'all have ups and downs and flows, ebbs and flows? It's just like basketball. In your career, it's been times where you've been disappointed and it's went like this and you dig yourself out and they go back up. So that's how, I mean, it's a team sport. We got to figure it out. It's ebbs and flows and everything in life. And that's what we got to do. Like right now, we like this and then we'll figure out a way to go back like that. So, and then it might be another point in the season we go like this and then we go back up. Like that's just how it is.